Hey everybody, Brock from Brock's Performance. I wanted to talk about our new Super Stock box, the version 2. So we originally did the version 1. Greg Smith, excellent, really great, smart guy, helped us solve the problems. If you've seen our videos, Jeremy won, the last XDA race. And we did all of that through the bike's diagnostic port. And while it did work, there was a lot of connections that had to be made. There was a lot of chances for improper installation if the installer didn't get all the connectors clicked and everything. So I talked to Greg about it, and we came up with this really cool, very simple, super easy to install Super Stock Box 2. Functionality speaking, it's identical. It does absolutely everything the same, except for one little part, which is no big deal, and I'll show you what that is here shortly. But basically what I did, obviously we had the Super Stock Box version 1 on Black Betty here. I went ahead and pulled that off and put the bike back to sort of as close to stock as I felt like doing for an installation video. So I just wanted to let you know and show you exactly how easy this is. Now, before we get started, danger. Unlike most motorcycles, this Generation 3 Hayabusa throws even more technical curves at us than any other generation has. We're seeing crazy stuff in performance, inconsistent acceleration, inconsistent performance at the track. I talked about that in the original video, which of course we'll link to below as far as our performance goes. But so the best way for us to get rid of all that was to really get rid of it. And when I say get rid of it, a lot of ECU flashes will actually turn items off, turn items on. Sometimes they only turn off the light that's a nuisance on the dash, but they leave the problem that caused the light functioning. You just can't see it because there's no trouble light on the dash. And most guys don't know to run the bike in dealer mode to see if there are trouble codes going on. So we'll show you exactly what we're doing there. But what I want to mention this. So this is for race use. There's two ways to do this. You can electronically delete the ABS and IMU, or you can physically delete the ABS and IMU. I'm going to show you how to electronically delete it with the new version 2 of the box. And it's very simple. It basically involves installing this unit into the wiring harness and disconnecting 2 connectors, and then electronically, the stuff won't mess with you anymore. Then I'll go into what you have to do if you really want to move it for race use and leave it off the bike. But let's just get going on the install first. All right. This is not a race bike if you talk to anyone at Suzuki, which means the GSXR is a race bike, right? Everybody knows that. This is racing. This is a street bike. This is a hyper bike. This is whatever you want to call it. But being easy to maintain, easy to pull the bodywork, easy to work on is not one of its strong suits. So I'm going to show you I'm at the drag strip and I want to try this thing at Brock's right now. And I don't have all the time in the world to do it the right way. So when it comes to that, I've just removed the items that need to be removed for this installation. You have to remove both the dash panels over here. You have to remove the gas tank cover because we're going to need to prop up the tank. You have to remove the seat, tail section, and so forth. Now, if we were going to do it the right way, without risking any kind of potential damage to the bike, you would want to pull the left and right hand side fairings off. Just get them completely out of the way. A lot of guys would want to pull off the tank. Man, that's all you. But for what I'm doing right now, I just want to show you how to do it quickly at the racetrack or in your garage so you can get on your way. Obviously, we've already removed the panels. And the first thing, and it has happened on this bike, and when I say damage, we're in between rounds. Sometimes we get torn down in between rounds, not torn down, but inspected. Well, you don't have time to pull your bike all apart, hang the bodywork up on hangers, and You don't have time for that shit. You got to get to the next round. You got to get to where you're going. So many times throughout the last season when we were doing our testing, we lifted the tank on the bike. You still have to pull the things off I just mentioned, but instead of you can't just pull these off like on a GSXR, these side panels here. They have to come off with the bodywork, unless you have race bodywork, of course. We're talking about OEM bodywork. So one of the shortcuts that we figured out is if you hold this back, and if you can put a couple towels in here or have a helper, just hold it back when you lift the tank. Now, what you're gonna watch for, there's a little crack. See that little crack? Okay. We have a corresponding crack on the left-hand side where at some point we were in a hurry, we spread them too far, and we got a crack. Man, it's the price we pay when we're going rounds on a bike. If that's the only thing we break in a season, we're good. You don't want to break that? Take all that shit off. You don't have to worry about it. So anyway, you can sort of spread it apart, lift the, and if you have a helper that can hold this back, or like I said, you can just stuff some rags in there. Then you can hold up the tank, and this is really very simple. And I'm gonna pull the tank back to give you a little bit more room. You have to watch. You don't want to yank on these wires too hard. But the super stock box plugs in to where the wiring harness connects to the ABS. So all you have to do is push this little tab, rotate the connector, and it comes out. That's pretty simple stuff, right? And even one-handed, I can come in here, put that down. That was a little fast for you. When I move this lever, it clamped it down and it's locked into place. So that's already done. We just set that there where it's not in the way, and then set this back down, hopefully without breaking anything. All right. Now, I just set this in here. Usually, this is the IMU. It's usually mounted on these little studs. I didn't want to yank all this stuff out of the way, but it is super simple. You can see it's got a little tab here. Oops. If it were plugged in, we just press tab, pull it, and then all we'd want to do is tuck this down or zip tie it so that it can't get wet, can't get debris in it. This can be removed entirely from the bike because removing the IMU means you can physically remove it. And then right now, we have effectively electronically deleted the ABS unit and the IMU. That's all done, 100%. Now, a lot of racers want to take that one step further, and they will remove the ABS pump that you saw underneath the tank. I can tell you from doing it on previous bikes, it's usually somewhere 5 to 7 pounds weight savings. We just did a ZX14, and with everything removed, ABS related, that we didn't need, it was 8 pounds, which is nice. Anyway, it really is that simple. You don't have to worry about missing connections. Some of them were a pain to get to. We just tried to streamline everything. So from a functionality standpoint, we're back to where we were with the Super Stock Box 1 with one exception. Because we were going through the OBD2 port, which let me move back over here. We were going through this port. Now we're not going through that port. Well, in order to be able to put the bike in dealer mode, you need a dealer switch. And the bike doesn't have to be in dealer mode, but it gives you a real-time display of if any ECM codes or dash codes are flashing. It's the only way that you can see that everything is removed that could possibly be getting in your way of going fast. So you just simply turn it on or plug it in, and I will show you. Go ahead and turn the key on here. All right, so now you shouldn't have any weird codes. When we run these bikes, we run them in full power mode with the traction control off. So when the traction control is off, you're always gonna see TC flashing because it's warning you. You don't have your traction control on. It's telling you as a rider. The thing that's nice, if you want to pan over here, I'll flick my little switch, bink, and 0, 0, 0, 0, 5 zeros. That's the dealer display. And if you get codes, they're going to come up on this real time. When you do your burnout without a super stock box, you get codes. You get code after code. There's all kinds of things that trip it. Well, now we want them away. We want them to stay away, which means that we want zeros all the time. Now, okay, maybe you don't want to buy the little switch. I'm going to show you a trick. And this is super high tech, but I'm going to show it to you anyway. Wait one moment. Okay, we'll turn power off and we'll look at our switch. And I don't know if you can see it. Hopefully I can. We are jumping across this wire and this wire. So if I pull this out of the way, this wire and this wire would be this pin and this pin. Okay, and this is a little deceptive. These pins are really, really small, so you gotta have a paper clip or a piece of wire that is small enough to go in the pins. So you straddle that one, and then you put it in there. Make sure it's pressed in enough to make good contact. And then bam. Look at that. I just saved you $45 in today's money. I say today's money. Yeah, everything always goes up, right? So in the future, that could be even more. Look how much we save you. Isn't that awesome? So anyway, put the bike back together, go out, go fast. All right, so our team's a little more professional than this. We're gonna go ahead and put the nice switch back in, and look at that. Now we have all kinds of room in the back of the trunk that we were taking up with all of those wires and things from before. So anyway, it's just an updated version. Bike is every bit as fast as it used to be, faster. I can't wait to see what happens on these bikes once people realize how fast they can go when you put the time and effort into them. You know, what we did with Jeremy's amazing. It's hard not to do amazing stuff with Jeremy riding your motorcycle. So anyway, watch for other guys that all of a sudden their Gen 3 Hayabusa got really, really fast. And you wonder why? Because of this. Anyway, till next time, I'm Brock from Brock's Performance. We'll see you then.